What's going on, grappling fans?
First, I wonder if you learn to prepare mentally in the game.
The first two weeks, guys, all our matches have been pretty close.
Who's number one?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Who's Number One press conference for our upcoming event, Who's Number One? Garry Tonon versus Dante. A lot's changed this week. That's the new main event. But joining me here first is one of the first match off the main card at our event. On my right, Elizabeth Clay from Ari's BJJ. On my left, Maggie Grandotti from Fight Sports. I guess we'll kick it off with Elizabeth to start this off. How you feeling going into this match?
I feel great going into this match. Been training hard. I've been fighting like nonstop for about 2 months, so I'm definitely in fight shape, and just feel good going into it, like I have with every other match.
Yeah, you have been fighting a lot. How many matches have you taken since we got back from COVID, since things started going again?
This will be my fourth one.
You beat Kendall, you beat Louisa, and the other one was?
Chelsea Leon.
All right, so you got to be feeling pretty sharp going into this then. You got a lot more going on than everybody else recently. And you, Maggie, how do you feel about this match? When you got offered the match and everything, how you feeling going into it?
I feel good. I'm always excited to fight Liz. It's a completely different style than my game, and that's the challenge that I like. She's super sharp with her submissions. I mean, I've found that out personally, and that's kind of where I lack. I'm not an aggressive submission fighter, so in order to become more of a submission fighter, you have to fight the best submission fighters there are. So I'm very excited. Very excited.
Yeah, like you were just telling me before the show, you guys fought a couple times at the color belts, correct?
Yeah, we fought Nogi Pans at purple, and then in the absolute, and then just past Nogi Worlds in the absolute at brown.
Yeah, and so you're a black belt now.
Yes.
You're still a brown belt, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's no gi. I mean, you just tapped Luisa Montero last week, so I mean, belts don't really matter. As we saw with like Ty Rotolo at ADCC, he was a blue belt. So,
Yeah.
How did it go in the last two times you guys fought?
She got my arm the first time and my neck the second time.
All right, and
Third time's a charm.
It's been a while.
Hopefully for me and not for her.
It's been a little while though, right?
Yeah, it would have been what, December?
Yeah,
December
December.
from Nogi Worlds. Yeah.
Nogi Worlds. All right, cool.
Yes.
So what do you think you got to do differently to avoid that this time
Just
around?
patience, and which is hard again because obviously the event is submission only, so you want to be attacking, but someone with submissions like Liz, I have to be patient, and that's my game anyway. So I think my style versus her style is a good fight. Good fight.
What about you, Liz? Considering that you guys have fought a couple times, like she said, you were successful, but do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage going into this for you?
I mean, obviously she knows my game because we fought before, so she knows more of what to avoid, but I think it makes it more fun because then you get further down it instead of like stopping right off the gate. I get to work further down my trail and what I like to do. So I think it'll make it a lot more of a fun fight than the previous ones.
And you guys, your last two matches were IBJJF, correct?
Yes.
And this time it's going to be submission only. It's going to be different rules. I'll start with Liz. How do you think that changes up the matchup, that is submission only?
I don't think it'll change it that much because IBJJF, I still play footlocks. I just don't do heel hooks. So maybe instead of if I was going to go straight ankle lock IBJJF, I get a heel hook. But everything else is still the same. I pull guard IBJJF too, so it doesn't change that much.
How about you? Do you think change things up a little
For
bit?
me, it changes, of course,
Yeah.
because again, I like playing the rules of the IBJJF, but again, I like the challenge, and I know for me, just receiving my black belt, and I've tried to be as active as I can. It's another, step closer, to learning something new in a sense of being more aggressive with my submissions. Not worrying about the advantages in the point, and hopefully, like, my goal for myself is definitely to open up more of my game for the submission only style.
All right, this will be the last one before we move on to the next match. I'll let Maggie kick this off. What do you think the fans can expect when they tune in and watch this match tomorrow night?
I think, like Liz said, the more you fight somebody, the more you get to know their game. So I think it's gonna, definitely go on further, and it'll be a lot of stopping each other's attacks, stopping my pass, stopping, her from getting under. I think it's just going to be a very, like, on the edge of your seat kind of fight. Like, what's going to happen is like the more submission part going to work or the pressure passing. It'll be kind of like I think a surprise. Everyone waiting to see what happens.
All right, the same question for you, Liz.
I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be one that you're not going to want to take your eyes off the screen because as soon as you do, something's going to happen and you're going to miss it, and then you're going to have to go back and find the highlights. So for this one, you better make sure that you're keeping your eyes on the screen and that you're not looking away because you're going to miss something if you do.
All right, tomorrow night, the whole card starts off at 6, I think about 10 Eastern for the main card. And Elizabeth Clay and Maggie Grandotti going to be going on. It's going to be very exciting along with a few other matches. Thank you guys very much. And I think now we'll get Wagner and Ronaldo in here next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So this event brought to you by Fighter's Choice. Yeah, you guys could just walk out.
Oh, okay, cool.
Brought to you by Fighter's Choice, made by fighters for fighters. If you go to fighterschoice.com, you can use code WNO for 30% off of supplements. Big event tomorrow night. We got Garry Tonon versus Dante Leon in the main event. Rematch from ADCC. Obviously, Hulk versus Cyborg, co-main event. Wagner, Hosha, and Ronaldo. We'll bring them in a second. Brought to you by Fighter's Choice. Jiu-jitsu is a sport unlike any other. Therefore, you should not fuel your body with supplements made for the average sports person. Fighter's Choice offers you formulas specifically handcrafted for the unique requirements of jiu-jitsu fighters. Just the right amount of amino acids, electrolytes, micronutrients, and nothing else. Get 30% discount on all items. Promo code WNO. All right, Ronaldo, you can come in. You can be on this side, bro. We're live now, but we'll wait for whenever Wagner gets in here. All right, guys, here we go. Here's your second match that we're going to interview. On my left, Wagner Hosha. All right, Ronaldo Junior. I think we'll kick it off with you, Ronaldo. It's probably been a wild week for you, actually for both of you, but a couple days ago you thought you were going to fight Gordon Ryan. What went through your head when you heard they had to pull out?
Yeah, to be honest, I got really upset at first, and I didn't know exactly what happened with him. I just thought that he was playing games. But as soon as I found out exactly what happened, then I truly understood. And I'm very happy that Wagner came to fight me, otherwise I wouldn't have an opponent. So I would like to thank Wagner for that, and I expect a good fight tomorrow.
All right, and then Wagner, one of the first guys that came to my mind when I thought we needed a last-second replacement. What did you think when we hit you up to have this fight with Ronaldo?
I was grateful, that I'm on the top of the list of people to be, to take these opportunities, and I'm grateful as well, that I'm able to accept the opportunity, because we're in a new era of jiu-jitsu where jiu-jitsu is becoming professional, and for you to be within the top group of the guys who are being thought of to put on a show and to be called in to sub a match like this is an honor.
Yeah, so obviously you're a veteran of the game. You've been around, done so much. Ronaldo is a new black belt. This would be his first year competing black belt. What do you know about Ronaldo, about his history?
I've watched his matches in the gi. He's very good. I wasn't able to get much footage on him in no gi. In comparison to whatever he got off me. Because I have so much footage out. So it's it's going to be a challenge, just like every other challenge. Just got to go out there and embrace it and do the job.
All right, Ronaldo, obviously you're fighting a vet, multiple-time ADCC medalist. I'm sure you've seen him compete many times before. What do you think about this matchup when we offered it to you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fireworks, man. Wagner's a very good opponent, and he always goes forward. He's a good competitor. I've been seeing him for a long time. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to be fighting against him, and I can't wait for the fight tomorrow.
How do you think you match up with Wagner stylistically?
I think it's going to be a kind of physical match, because he's very aggressive. I know his style. And for me, I had 8 weeks camp to fight against Gordon. I was expecting a no time limit match, so I prepared myself, standing, top, battle, all my game. I feel that I can play any type of game. I just need to feel the fight, and I'm very excited for tomorrow.
All right, Wagner. So, how do you think things play out for you? What's the ideal game plan for you? Like, how do you like things to go?
It's gonna be like every other match I have. I'm gonna come out and set the pace and see where my opponent is strong and where he's not, and start taking advantage as I start digging through.
Absolutely.
Start opening up the goodie bag, making see where it's at.
Ronaldo, Wagner is not going to say dirty, but known for being a very aggressive guy. How do you think you'll deal with that when you guys get out there on the stage tomorrow night?
I usually people, if they do something against me, it doesn't get into my mind. I focus on the winning, and I never fought someone like that before, like very aggressive like this, and I focus on the winning, even no matter what happens in the match. I just want to win the fight.
Wagner, what do you think the fans can expect tomorrow night?
Expect fireworks, expect a good match. You got a young, strong, aggressive, willing person to try to make a name, and you got a vet that's going to be doing his job like he always does, to entertain. The goal is to go out there and make the fans like watching what they see, so they get their money's worth, That's what we're here. We're getting paid to do this. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I want to say thanks again to Wagner for coming in on such short notice, but like 48 hours before weigh-ins.
What was the first thing when you texted me asking me if I wanted to fight? Well, I didn't. Did I say no? Did I say yes? I said right away. I was like, "Who is it?"
Yeah, I think you said I'll fight anyone. Yeah.
To me,
fight anyone anytime.
If Ronaldo showed up in my school on Friday afternoon to train, I would invite him to roll, and we'd do it just as easy, So, to me, being able to go out and get paid to do what we love is a blessing, And a lot of people. I heard there was athletes that said no. I'm laughing at you. If you said no in front of me, then I'm just shaking my head thinking, why?
Yeah.
If somebody showed up at your gym, you would say no.
Good point. All right, Ronaldo, before we get out of here and move on to the next match, I will. You and Gordon obviously been going back a lot online. If you want to give a little message to him, I'm sure we'll run that match sometime soon, and give a little message to Gordon watching at home, maybe.
Yeah, just be safe. Be safe. You sign the contract, make sure you wash your hands, you gotta be responsible, and then if you wanna come and fight, I'm always gonna be ready to fight. That's what I always say. No matter what, I don't wanna be disrespectful against him, but I just wanna fight, and then no matter it's against him or against Wagner, I wanna do my job, and I wanna do what I love, and against anyone.
All right, very respectful. Great message for Gordon Ryan. Wash your hands out there. Guys, this match is going to be crazy. This is a matchup that we haven't seen before. You're probably not going to see anywhere else. Wagner Hosha versus Ronaldo Junior tomorrow night. Guys, thank you very much. I think we'll move on to the next one now of Cyborg versus Hulk. Again, guys, this event is brought to you by Fighter's Choice. Jiu-jitsu is a sport unlike any other. Therefore, you should not fuel your body with supplements made for the average sports person. Fighter's Choice offers you formulas specifically handcrafted for the unique requirements of jiu-jitsu fighters. Just the right amount of amino acids, electrolytes, micronutrients, and nothing else. Get 30% discount on all items. Promo code WNO. So, guys, we got two more matches that we're going to interview. We're going to do Hulk and Cyborg in a second, and then Dante and Garry should be coming up after that. And this event's going to be crazy. A lot of stuff changed this week. We lost Gordon and Craig, but replacing with two really good matches, high-ranked guys coming in. It's going to be kicking off at 6 Eastern. The first match is going to be 40 matches or so. The main card will be around 10 Eastern. Yeah, you're over here. Got Cyborg here. We'll wait for Hulk. Is Garry out there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, here we are with our co-main event of the evening. Lucas Barboza, the Hulk, versus Roberto Abreu, Cyborg. Lucas was supposed to be fighting Craig Jones. Craig had to pull out So I'll kick it off there, just like I asked Ronaldo. Lucas, what did you think when you heard Craig had to pull out?
Oh man, it was sad. We were trying to fight in a couple events. We really tried, face each other in some opportunities, but at this time it didn't work out. Hopefully in the near future. But I would just wish that has a speedy recovery now, and when he's ready, I'll fight him again. But fighting Cyborg now is the focus.
Yeah. So Cyborg, you've said it several times in interviews with me. You're always ready. So 48 hours ago, you didn't even know you were going to fight on this card. You had seminars planned, correct? And then we offered you the Hulk fight. So what went through your head? And
Man, again, it's like Wagner said, it's a blessing for us to be able to do something that we love. We come from a time that we used to compete from little medals. Like now we're getting paid to do what we love to do, and I believe that it's a job. Like a fighter fights. So every time there's an opportunity, we jump in. Like we just came back from Tulum. I was in Mexico last weekend. Like relaxing a little bit after this crazy start of the year that we've had, right? Yeah. But again, we never lose the focus. Me and Meg were training there, and I believe that it's very important for people to understand that being a fighter is a lifestyle, right? So you have to keep on the lifestyle. You gotta always, like how I say, you always have to be ready to take on the opportunities that life provides to you. This is one of those opportunities. Lucas, an amazing fighter, man, has proven back to back to be one of the best in the world, and always a great privilege for me to be able to, come in and try to stand in front of this beast of the new generation.
Yes, you guys have fought 2 times, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Cyborg won both of those, but they were great matches. They were brawls. Yeah. Lucas, what do you think you got to do different this time around to get the W?
I don't know, man. I feel that every time that I fight someone, I get more experience, and I feel that I learned from that. That's what you got to take, right? You got to learn. And every time I fought him, and I lost, and that helped me to push me a lot at the gym to help myself to improve. So yeah, and I'm facing him again.
Yeah.
I am really happy to be fighting. He's a tough guy. He's he's a legend of the sport, and I'm the opportunity is the best, showing one of the best events here in America. For the public, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, this is the match that I ran into Seth at the hotel earlier, and I was like, we got to make sure these guys don't go off the stage because this one's going to be all over the place. You guys got some big takedowns every time you compete. How do you think this match plays out, Cyborg? What do you think the fans can expect when you and him get in there?
Man, I believe that Lucas and I, we have a pretty similar game. We love wrestling. We love the top game. For sure, we're going to headbutt a lot this fight. You know what I mean? Nothing different from what I've done before. We're both gonna come at him. He's a super aggressive fighter. You know what I mean? And I know we're gonna have to hold the hook. It's not an easy mission, but I feel prepared. I'm always training. I feel better than ever. You know what I mean? And again, it's the first time competing at Who's Number One. Honored to be stepping on the mats. That's pretty much it, man. And this is gonna be fireworks tomorrow. That's for sure.
Yeah, Hook. Something that just came to mind is this has to have been a big change for you. You're going out there against Craig. You're thinking this guy's just gonna sit down right away, right? And now you're gonna be in a brawl, a wrestling match, right?
Yeah.
How did that change your thinking going into this match?
Man, yeah, got 3 days, 2 days to to expecting that I was fighting Cyborg. I was like, well, now it's a change. But I mean, I worked some different stuff before, and now I pretty much what do you say, we pretty much have the same style. We know our game, so there's gonna be a lot of fireworks there. I believe that it's 15 minutes submission only. We don't have to care about points, so we're free to do whatever you want, either pull guard, try to submit, main thing, anything can happen. But I'm pretty much more excited to to put on a show to everyone, and I believe that everyone will love this fight.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Cyborg being always ready. You were just had a gi match 5 days ago with Leandro Lowe in Brazil, right? What was it, 5 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are both coming in with momentum. Cyborg hasn't lost in 2020.
Yep.
Still undefeated, trying to keep that rolling. Hulk coming in with the big win over Leandro Lowe. So this is going to be a great match. I mean, just like the Wagner-Ronaldo match we were just talking about, this is going to be a brawl. We know it's going to be exciting. And tune in tomorrow night. Thank you guys very much. I think we'll move on to Garry and Dante now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Valeu, sensei. Cara, o cara tava em Tulum. Vou ter ficado lá, cara. Não fui, cara.
All right, guys, this event brought to you by Fighter's Choice. Jiu-jitsu is a sport unlike any other. Therefore, you should not fuel your body with supplements made for the average sports person. Fighter's Choice offers you formulas specifically handcrafted for the unique requirements of jiu-jitsu fighters. Just the right amount of amino acids, electrolytes, micronutrients, and nothing else. Get 30% discount on all items. Promo code WNO. Fighter's Choice, great company, sponsors a lot of jiu-jitsu athletes. A couple guys on this card, Wagner and Cyborg. So, just a minute, we'll get Garry Tonon and Dante Leone in here. Tune in tomorrow night, 6 Eastern. I think 10 o'clock Eastern will be the main card. Kicking off, the main card would be the last 5. Gabe Tuttle from 10th Planet versus Junior Ocasio from Unity. Maggie Grandotti versus Elizabeth Clay is the next match. Wagner Hosha versus Ronaldo Junior up next after that. Then you got the co-main event, the 2 guys we just had here, Hulk and Cyborg. And followed by the main event of Garry Tonon versus Dante Leone. Garry and Dante, obviously a rematch from ADCC. They fought the bronze medal match. Garry won by a heel hook, but since then, Dante's been on a tear. Submitted Zaki Bayen's at Fight to Win. Beat Hanato Canuto at Kasai. Won Nogi Worlds, defeating Jaime Canuto in the finals. Crazy week, guys. I mean, had to replace Craig Jones and Gordon Ryan, both on Monday night, 48 hours for the weigh-ins. Props to Cyborg and Hulk for stepping in on very late notice against high-ranked opponents. I'll run the Fighter's Choice. This event brought to you by Fighter's Choice. Jiu-jitsu is a sport unlike any other. Therefore, you should not fuel your body with supplements made for the average sports person. Fighter's Choice offers you formulas specifically handcrafted for the unique requirements of jiu-jitsu fighters. Just the right amount of amino acids, electrolytes, micronutrients, and nothing else. Get 30% discount on all items. Promo code WNO. Just a second, guys. Waiting on Garry Tonon and Dante Leone to get in here. All right, who we got here? Dante?
Yes, sir.
What side, left or right? You are going to be the fight sports side over here. How's it going?
I'm good now.
Just a second. Once we get Gary in here, we'll finish this thing.
Yeah, man. So, exciting stuff. Absolutely, I'd want that number one spot. Assuming it's JT. That's in there? It is. Yeah. So, looking forward to that.
Gary Tonon coming in.
How's it going?
Gary Tonon with the American flag cowboy hat.
A walk-on interview. Moving into another interview. This is
Sorry, how to interrupt your interview.
I feel like I'm going to get attacked. You guys are distracting me. This is a setup for sure.
All right, we got our main event of the evening tomorrow night. It was co-main event until a couple days ago, and then obviously some stuff happened. But we got on my right Garry Tonon, on my left Dante Leon. First off, Gary, how you feeling going into this fight?
Oh, I'm feeling really good, man. It's just it's a little bit of a different thing. I was mentioning to Howell as well that going into our last match, like I had very not as much time as I would have liked to prepare for ADCC. It was kind of like a last minute thing that I decided to do. So I didn't really research anybody, and I only knew about the people that I had previously competed against. Right, like I only knew about Wagner, I knew about Lucas Lepre, JT Torres. These are guys that I was just familiar with in the grappling world. I've been researching them for a long time. And I had been out of the jiu-jitsu mix, so I had no real reason to be researching anybody that was coming up, right? So, Dante was in the division, and, we had our match, and the only frame of reference I had was the 3 minutes there, or however many minutes, I don't know, 4 or 5, that we competed against each other. So then for this match, where I'm actually I knew who my opponent was ahead of time, I had some time to actually think about it, watch some footage and things. Now I really know, who he is as a grappler a little bit, And it gives me a completely different frame of reference than our first match, which is just me thinking about what I'm going to do. Now I'm thinking a little bit all right, well, I know he has some really good offensive weapons. I notice his style is really dynamic, very similar to mine. Man, I think it's going to be a really exciting match. I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, like you said, you guys met ADCC in the bronze medal match. How do you think things have changed since then, Dante?
I think, like I said in the interview, I think both people have changed since September. I mean, 8, 9, 10 months removed from that. So I've done a lot of homework since then. I'm sure Gary has as well. 2 guys that love to train, 2 guys that immerse themselves in the martial art of submission wrestling, submission grappling. So I think a lot of things have changed. It's interesting to see. It's a different feel to the fight. It's 15 minutes now. It's based on 15 minutes in its entirety. It's not ADCC rules or anything like that. So I think it's something that pertains to both of our styles really well.
Somebody in the comments here says Dante looks like a Jack Nicky Ryan. But
He kind of does. I didn't even think about that, but he does a little bit.
But it's because I shave. I got the baby face, man.
So Gary touched on a little bit that he had time to go study you. It's got to be a little bit different here that obviously you guys met at ADCC in the bronze medal match. You were 4 matches into it, maybe even more. I don't know if the absolute stuff took place before that. But to be able to go into it with just one opponent in mind, and that's what you're game planning for, how do you think that changes things, Dante?
Changes everything. I mean, you're preparing for one fight. You're preparing for one 15-minute round with one guy, one game. You're not thinking about anything else that could happen. When there's 16 people in a tournament, a lot of shit can happen, People can surprise people. I surprised a lot of people beating Lepre in the event. Gary surprised a lot of people going into the open class and doing damage there. I mean, so, a lot of things can happen. A lot of things can kind of change the dynamic of the whole event there. But here, I mean, there's not a whole lot that can really change. I mean, as long as we don't get sick or die before the event happens, we're going to show up and we're going to compete against each other, you know what I mean, in one fight against one another. So it changes everything.
Somebody here doubting Gary's studying says Gary hasn't done homework in 20 years. But so, Gary, I was interviewing both Craig and Gordon yesterday about their picks, and they both think that submission-only rules that they think you're unbeatable. Do you think that this is the perfect rule set for you, and do you think that you're the best guy in the world in submission only?
Damn near close. I like to believe that for sure. I've been saying, like, ever since I started grappling, that's kind of the way that I looked at things. I really liked the idea of, eventually trying to submit somebody. That was, like, the goal for me. And not that to say that it's not the goal for other people as well, but they seemed much more content, especially in, IBJJF competitions and stuff like that, winning by an advantage, points, whatever the case may be. And it's not like I never had a match where that happened, or, even to this day, like, I'll have matches that go to decision or whatever the case may be, but my thought process was like, hey man, no matter where I'm at, I'm trying to find a way to eventually submit this guy. Back then I had so few tools though, all I could really do is strangle people from the back. So I just tried to find ways to do that. And now I have a lot more tools in my tool belt to be able to do that. So back then I was tough because I was just very tough to submit, and I had one way that I could submit somebody. And now I have a multitude of ways that I could submit people, but I'm also still very difficult to submit myself. So it's definitely a big headache, I would say, for anybody getting involved in a submission-only match, as well as even if you get to the point where, you go to decision, it's highly likely that I've had a high number of submission attacks because it's just the way that my game is built, right? So it definitely makes it more difficult. And I would say if I'm not the best in the world, I'm right up there. I'm not exactly sure who I'd put in front of me, but at least it's certainly at my weight class. You know what I mean?
So Dante, like we know, Garry won by submission at ADCC. What do you think you got to do different this time around?
There's a lot of things that happened then that I've done my homework on and had to adjust now. Like I said,
I was hoping he was just gonna say his exact game plan. Right?
I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did before. But no, I mean, a lot of things had to change. I mean, you can't come in doing the exact same thing. Studying, doing your homework. Figuring out, like he said, he sees the grappler he's going against now, me, and he's studying kind of like what I like to do and the game plan that he's going to bring to the game. I had to do something similar. So you can get exposed and things can get brought out in a tournament, of course. I mean, 16 people, a lot of things can change in that division. A lot of people can surprise you, but I know Garry's dangerous. I know he's one of the best in the world. And I know he's the biggest challenge at this weight class for sure, especially given the rule set. So a lot of homework, a lot of work's been done. So I believe I'm ready.
Garry, I heard when you were coming in with Howell, I heard JT name come out of your mouth. Is that a match you're looking for in the future to get that number one spot at 77?
Yeah, of course, man. Especially in like a sub-only rule set. Because the only context I've ever competed against JT has been with ADCC rules. And it's something Dante was highlighting before. It's a totally different feel. I mean, there's so much strategy and tactics that are involved in an ADCC match because you're thinking about, okay, I have this amount of time where there's no points. And then when there are points called, it's like a takedown only counts if I hold somebody down for this amount of time. And it's like there's all these things that normally, like, I would love to just not even have to think about when I'm training, are having to be present in your mind all the time. So it changes, like, everything. And it's not to say that, me and JT could have a submission-only match. Maybe he beats me. I don't know. But I'd love to find out. I'd love to see how that would unfurl in a context of a submission-only match instead, where it's a little bit more open. There's no worry about points. And, for example, I'll give you, like, our last match in ADCC. I kind of, I tried to go for a sumigashi or something, I think. And it was either poorly timed or he reacted to it really well. So I just kind of got shut down and I fell to the floor. I think I'm assuming he scored 2 for that when I got to the ground, and then I rolled into the knee bar towards the end. But, that's essentially lost me the match, was just like a failed attempt at a takedown. And that's not happening in a sub-only context. You're not going to just fail a takedown and that's going to be the difference between winning and losing a match. It's a completely different thing. And I know for a fact if JT competed against me in a sub-only context, it would be a different match. He would have a different strategy than he would compete in ADCC. So I think it would be something different for everybody to see, and I would love that. I always want to get the win back as well. I've had let me think. So one decision when I was a purple belt against JT, then a second one, the one ADCC. So that's 3 matches with JT now. 2 of them 0-0 decisions, and then the last one I think I lost by 2 points. Pretty sure. So I mean, pretty close matches, to say the least.
All right. Yeah, I think everybody would like to see that run back, but obviously standing in your way right now is Dante Leon. Dante, in the rankings, you've been sort of stuck in that 4 spot for a minute. You've been beating everybody. But you just haven't been beating the guys ahead of you, right? You've been behind Wagner, Garry, and JT. So here's your opportunity to move up, maybe get another matchup with one of those guys ahead of you. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, this is the biggest challenge. Like I said, this is the biggest challenge in the division. This is the biggest fight in the division, I think. This is the one that means the most to me, you know. So I don't really care so much about where like I'm at in the ranking or a fight with somebody like JT or Wagner right now. I mean, got a lot on my plate here, so it's time to worry about this and you know, take care of what's ahead of us.
Yeah, and Gary, what do you think the fans can expect tomorrow night in this match?
Man, I was mentioning to Howell as well. Like I said, like after researching Dante and watching like a lot of the stuff that he does, it's just such a dynamic grappler and very similar to like a lot of the things that I like to do, playing bottom position, springing up to, to singles and doubles. So there's just so many different dimensions to his game. It's hard for me to imagine a situation in the match where there's just going to be a complete stalemate. I mean, if you just watch the last match that we had, I think there was constant movement the entire match. And I think that's what you're going to see. And I think that's what makes for exciting matches is just consistent transition, both guys trying to jockey for better position and better submissions. And I can't see it going any other way than that. So I think expect fireworks for sure.
Same question to you, Dante.
Absolutely. I think he hit the nail on the head. You're not going to see two guys that are trying to like edge out a victory or trying to do some kind of like strategic play. I think you're going to see two guys really going for it and putting their jiu-jitsu on the line, putting it on the line. You know, I don't see Gary as being a guy who doesn't take risks. I know myself. I don't really shy away from taking a risk or shy away from exposing myself, like putting myself out there, you know, going for something. Damn, that's a whack ringtone, bro.
Is it Gary?
It's like the standard.
But, yeah, I mean, it's two guys who are going to go for it, man. You know, I really respect Gary's game. I think it's a very fan-friendly style, and I think I have that as well. So when you bring us together for something like this for 15 minutes, it has all the potential, all the makings to be fight of the night. You know, I think it's where it deserves to be. It's the main event.
Yeah, it's a great main event. I mean, that's one of the advantages of essentially having three main events when we made the original card. Just two guys get COVID, and we can still have this match to finish it off. So tune in tomorrow night, guys. Who's number one? Garry Tonon versus Dante Leon. Event starts at 6 Eastern. I think the main card, the last 5 matches, starts around 10 Eastern. So make sure you tune in. This is going to be great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we're good.
Cool.
Good?
Yeah, all good.
Beauty.
I went from entering the building where nobody knew that I was here or was supposed to be allowed in because like somebody let me in that had no idea that I was supposed to be here, to being corralled into the interview while backing up in another interview.
Yeah, that was classic.
Howell's just kind of like,